Hello, everyone. Today I will talk to super flyweight contender Andrew Moloney, who will fight in 2 weeks on undercard on huge event David Hanley, George Cambosos in Melbourne, Australia. My name is Michal Adamczyk of boxingzone.org. Hi, Andrew. How are you doing?
Good, Michael. How are you, mate?
Everything is fine. There's 2 weeks remaining before your upcoming fight against Norbelto Jimenez in your hometown, Australia, Melbourne, Australia. When did you start preparation for this fight?
I started preparation about 1 week after the last fight. So I fought in June 5th here in Australia, and I took a week off to let the body recover, and then straight back in the gym, as I always am. I don't necessarily do training camps. I'm in the gym all year round, just trying to improve as much as I can as a fighter. So this has been, quite a long preparation. I've been ready to fight now for many months, but now we're putting on the finishing touches to a really great training camp, I suppose you'd call it. Had some really great sparring for the last few weeks, and yeah, more than ready now to put on a really good performance in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, so if we are talking about sparring, who did you spar with, or who do you spar with? I guess one of your main sparring partners is your brother Jason, right?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of sparring with Jason, not a whole lot recently, not much. Sort of in towards the end of these, coming up closer to the fights, we generally bring in other sparring partners. We've had two fighters from overseas training with us, one from Chile, Junior Cruzat, a Japanese fighter, Ryota, living over here with us too. And we've got some great sparring in the area, just different guys, Vegas Larfield, Ben Cameron Hands, Eric Solopov, Bruno Trimo's in our gym, Alex Winwood about to turn professional. So I've had a lot of great work from many different guys, and I feel like I'm boxing better than ever right now. So I'm looking forward to a really good performance.
You have been very active this year. October fight is going to be your third one in this year, and it will take place in Melbourne, in your hometown, in front of your many fans. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, that's right. I'm really happy that I've been so active recently. So in less than 12 months, this will be my fourth fight. So that's really good. That's what I want to be. I want to be fighting, 4 times a year if possible. The last few years, obviously, because of the pandemic and things, I've only managed to maybe fight twice in both those years. And I don't like only fighting that little. I'm in the gym all year round, and I feel when you're sitting on the sidelines and you don't have a date to work towards or an opponent, you can go a little bit flat. So this time, being able to fight every couple of months has been really good for me. I feel like I've really improved a lot from that, as well as the lessons I learned in my losses to Franco. And I feel like now I'm at the real peak of my career. I'm boxing better than I ever have before. And I really think that in 2 weeks' time, October 15 or 16, wherever you are in the world, is going to be the best performance of my career.
Your opponent, Jimenez, he's a very experienced boxer, and he will not be an easy opponent for sure. You probably watch his fights. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's right. He's very experienced. He's had, I think, 46 professional fights, so a lot of fights. And he's got quite a deceiving record that I believe he sort of learnt his trade as a professional. So he took quite a few losses early in his career. I think he started his career at 1 win and 7 losses, which is quite amazing that he's managed to turn it around now, and he's only had 1 loss in the last 11 years. So he's a good fighter. He's rated very well. He's number 2 in the WBO, 3 in the WBC, and 8 in the WBA, I believe. So a very good opponent. And a win over him, I hope, really pushes me up high and hopefully earns me a shot at one of the world champions in my next fight. So that's the main motivation at the moment, to put on a really good performance, win in impressive fashion, and earn my shot at a world title next fight.
Yeah, we know you are a very ambitious boxer. So do you think that in 2023 you'll get the opportunity to fight for the championship belt? Your division is very tough at this moment.
Yeah, I hope so. in my ideal world, I would hope that I get the opportunity this year in 2022 to fight for the world title. Kazuto Ioka, I know normally fights on New Year's Eve, and I don't believe he has an opponent as of yet. So it's 11 weeks from my fight until New Year's, and I would be more than happy to again fight for the 5th time in 12 months and go over there and fight him on New Year's Eve straight away, and then finish this year already as world champion. But we'll see how things play out. If not, I believe next year I'll get my opportunity definitely, and I feel like I'm more than ready now to grab that world title and make sure that I hold on to it for a very long time.
How does your typical day look like during camp?
Training twice a day. So I train in the morning, first thing after I wake up, have a coffee, head straight to the gym. That's our main session. That's usually about 3 hours in the gym in the morning. Get everything done there with our boxing skills or sparring. And then come back, spend a bit of time with my family, recover, refuel, and then train again at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is our conditioning session. And I've been doing that consistently now for months, and I'm really in great shape. I'm ready to fight 15 rounds, and I just can't wait. The fight is almost here now, only 2 weeks away, and I'm jumping out of my skin and just really eager to get down to Melbourne and fight in front of a really good crowd in my hometown at Rod Laver Arena, which I think is the perfect venue for boxing. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and I'm really looking forward to it.
On the upcoming card, your brother Jason will have one of his most important fights in his career, a world title eliminator at stake. His opponent, he's a tough guy, Nawapon Kaikana. What can you tell us about Jason's preparations?
Yeah, same as me. Jason's been in the gym for a long time now, and like myself, I feel like he has gone to a whole new level now. He's been really impressive in his sparring this preparation, and I think he's really going to put on a great performance against, as you said, a tough opponent. His opponent has a record of 56 wins and 1 loss, so he's very experienced. Only tasted defeat once, which was for a world title. But he spent a lot of his career, well, except for the one fight, every fight has been in Thailand against a lower level of opposition. He really hasn't faced anyone like Jason before, so I think Jason will be far too good for him. And a very important fight, which will push him to number 1. Well, he's already number 1 in the WBC, but with Anui moving up in weight in December, I think this should mean that Jason will have a world title around his waist very soon.
Andrew, is there any specific fighter from Australian boxing history that inspires you?
Many of them. Danny Green,
for example.
Danny Green is the main Australian fighter that really got me into professional boxing. Before following Danny, I am boxing and Commonwealth Games and Olympics. It wasn't until I sort of started watching Danny that I really fell in love with professional boxing, really was a huge fan of him, and still are. And he's now a great friend of mine and has helped me so much in my career. He set up the team that we have around us now, and has been a real important figure in my professional career. And then Australia's had other great champions. Recently passed away, Johnny Farmajon was a great fighter. Jeff Fennick goes down as probably regarded as the best Australian fighter of all time. Absolute machine, probably the fittest fighter you'll ever see. And then Lionel Rose was also a great fighter. We've had many great champions, and most of them sort of around my weight division, the lighter weights. And that's motivation for me. I want to go down as one of the best Australian fighters, or ultimately my goal is to be the best Australian fighter of all time, but I know I have a long way to go for that yet, but that's my motivation, and certainly something that, motivates me to train hard every day.
Andrew, please let me ask you a quick question. Kambosos or Hani? Who's your favorite?
Well, George being an Australian fighter, I would love him to win this fight. I really would. It would be massive for not only him, but for Australian boxing. and it would mean that, you know, more big fights like we have in the first Haney fight and now this one, just huge events in Australia, which helps the sport grow here, helps more people get involved in boxing, and helps us showcase our talent in front of Australia, because boxing is not really a big sport here in Australia. Football, rugby, cricket, those really dominate the sporting sort of market over here. So I'd love the Australians, you know, boxing to become a major sport here in Australia. And if George can win this fight, that'll go, you know, be a huge help towards that happening. But I understand, especially going off that first fight, Haney was just so in control with that jab, with his boxing ability. George really has to change some things in this fight if he's to have success. And I think that he's not going to outbox Devin Haney. He needs to just make it a fight and really just put a lot of pressure on Haney and just try and break him down and get a stoppage if he can, or just really make it uncomfortable for Haney if he's to get the win. And I hope George does that. He stated that this could be his last fight if he's to lose. So I hope he puts it all on the table and just, you know, goes for broke and just really brings a lot of pressure to try and win this fight. I believe that's what he'll have to do.
Andrew, thank you so much for a great conversation. It's always nice to talk to you, and I really appreciate it, and I enjoy it. Thanks a lot once again, and good luck for you and for Jason. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for your support, mate. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Be safe.
You too.